My name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer, and broadcaster. And down through the years, one of my great delights is, if not presenting radio programs about the music I love, then being asked to discuss it on someone else's radio show. What follows is one such clip of myself and Mike Murphy, Ireland's greatest art show presenter ever, discussing something I wrote about during my 10-year tenure with the Irish Times. You see, during that decade, the 1990s, I also happened to be the popular music correspondent for the art show on RTE Radio 1. And both that station and the Irish Times like to see themselves as the radio station and newspaper of record, respectively. These programme segments, and sometimes full shows, would usually occur after Mike read an article I wrote and phoned me to appear on the programme, or after I myself would recommend an item that might be of interest to our listeners, and even provide a script, around which Mike and I would happily improvise. By the way, if you want to read some of the articles I wrote about music, the arts and popular culture in general, plus politics, check out my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.
All right, Joe Jackson, take me on to the next little piece of insight into rock history, please. What's next?
Do you get a check for this?
I don't know. I just enjoy it. I learn a little more every time you come in.
The Morrissey, as part of a group called the Smiths, is rated by many people as one of the best British songwriters of the 80s. And the Smiths are similarly rated as one of the best groups of the 80s. For many, the best British group.
Okay.
Right.
I never came to grips with Morrissey at all, so I know very, very little about it.
You're a lucky man.
Right.
No, I do find that in terms of the deification of Morrissey, I find it a little bit bewildering. I've often wondered if the pose of miserableism, which is what he's known for, is true. I know he very much, his three icons, he took his starters from Oscar Wilde, the look of Billy Fury, and Johnny Ray, the emotionalism of Johnny Ray, and even the look, a hearing aid on stage. But I mean, I've never quite trusted that. And the other part about it is he's now a man of 35. So whereas kind of adolescent-y angst works well when you start a group while you're 22, to still be projecting that as you're 5 years from 40, I just hang a question mark over that. Okay. And I know, I'll get crucified by Morrissey fans because he has this huge kind of cult following. Yeah. I saw his gig in the stadium last time round, and it's very, the boys get up and they kiss him throughout the gig, and he has this kind of transsexual appeal.
Yes.
Which is all part of what it's about. And that's what I like about his songs. They're kind of gender-free. He could be singing to a boy, he could be singing to a woman. It doesn't matter. He can hit the target so precisely that it applies to all.
And is he still as big as he was in terms of being, as you say, an icon or a cult figure?
As an icon, he is. As a cult figure, he definitely is. Musically, there are a lot of people who would argue the best music he ever made was with the Smiths.
Yeah.
And there's an argument for that because his Johnny Marr, his guitarist, had a great influence into that. But his new album, Vauxhall and I, to me, is not only the equal of anything he's done in his solo work, but probably better than a lot of the Smiths recordings.
Okay, we're going to play a track from this now, aren't we? What's this track we're going to hear?
The More You Ignore Me, the Closer I Get. And this is a wonderful insight into his kind of twisted kind of love song, obsessive love song he writes perfectly.
All right, there we had Morrissey with The More You Ignore Me and The Closer I Get. Joe Jackson, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Joe, it's always educational, at very, very least educational to have you in here. I always learn something else when you do come in about rock music.
I hope you soon get a handle on Morrissey.
I hope so too. All right, Joe, thank you very much indeed.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. And don't forget, if you want to read any of my articles, check out my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.